Welcome back to the Diorama series. Here we are for part 7 and we're going to continue the base. Now this has been base coated, we're going to be adding the texture paint using sterling mud. While we're adding the texture paint, be sure to use an old brush or texture paint tool. Here's a tip, dab it on for more of a random natural look, creating a more organic feel to the surface. Now using grey green by Vallejo, we're going to start base coating with rocks, and this is going to add a bit more depth and natural tone to the terrain. Now using Celestial Grey, it's time to start highlighting, and we're going to highlight using the dry brushing technique. Now remember, for the best results, wipe most of the paint off your brush first to keep the effect subtle and controlled. Now using Old-Pond Grey, we're going to repeat the dry brushes, but this time using a lighter touch to add subtle highlights. This final pass will enhance the details without overpowering the previous layers. Now for the earthy details, we're going to start with the dry brush with Mournfan Brown to bring the warmth and variation to the ground texture. I want the ground to look dried out, so I'm going to be building the colours gradually to create a sun-scorched natural effect. Next up is Scrag Brown, lightly dry brushing to start adding those mid-tone highlights and deepen the dried out look. Now we're using Bale or Brown. We're going to apply light dry brush here to accentuate the richer earthy tones and further enhance the sun-baked effect. And finally, it's time for Morghast Bone. Once again, we're going to lightly dry brush this and add a sun-bleached effect to bring out those final highlights on this ground. Now it's time to apply the grass. First off though, we need to apply PVA glue. And here we're going to use a very old brush to spread this around. Make sure you're not going to use a new brush, as the glue can ruin the bristles. Now to apply that Battlefield grass. I'm also here going to use a Tupperware container so any grass that doesn't stick to the base isn't wasted and won't go everywhere. Now starting off with the grass tufts, I'm going to be using dark moss, and this is for the rocks and to add a bit more contrast and a touch of life to the terrain. I'm using the end of a paintbrush to carefully position them where I want them. Now it's time for all the other grass tufts. Using tweezers, I'm going to be placing them randomly around the model to add that more natural scattered look to the base. I will also be putting them within the rocks, as you can see, and I'll be putting some of them within the grass. And there we have it, the base is complete and it is now ready to take centre stage in my first ever diorama. I have to say I absolutely loved making this and I hope you enjoyed it too. As always, thank you guys for watching and I'll see you next time.